Welcome to Spiritual Clearings, where we clear and transmute the energies of the collective across time, space, and dimensions. Using the Akashic Records, we access imprints from the past, present, future, past lives, and parallel realities to bring truth, clarity, and soul-level healing into the now. Let's align with the highest frequency available today, shall we? Aloha, Candace Fox here, your spiritual teacher and alchemical energy healer, and welcome to Spiritual Clearing Fridays. Hello, hello, hello. If you've never been here before, I utilize my pendulum and my charts in order to access the Akashic Records to kind of tap into the collective consciousness and see what is going on in the world today. And today, the topic is consequences. A lot of times we don't necessarily look at the consequences of our actions because we're choosing from the moment. However, when you are conscious and aware, there are multiple streams of information and energy that gives you the right choice point for you. However, we never really truly see and understand the outcome. We just kind of just wait and see and plan accordingly, according to our divine soul plan. So I'm going to play a song today that I feel is very pertinent to this message, and it's about facing myself. And the song is by Ellie Doon and Teddy Swims. I love them both. And what's important about this is when we are facing consequences, there are parts of us that aren't always operating in accordance to our higher selves. And when we're not aware of those parts of us, then they can choose on their own, and then we reap the repercussions towards the end when we have those outcomes. However, it's never truly our fault. We're in a place right now where we're coming to terms with a lot of the things we've chosen in the past of who we are, what we thought and believed to be true, and whether we realize it or not, it's operating in the background, operating subconsciously, programmed in, where we're starting to see the consequences of our actions, and we've really got a choice point right now of which way we wish to go. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and play the song again, Face Myself by Ellie Doon and Teddy Swims, as I connect with our high self team to kind of clear the energy around our consequences and get back into creating an alignment action. Here we go. Thank you so much for being here. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Jessica. Oh my goodness, this is such a powerful topic. Just like the song is saying, is that we've really got to face ourselves. There's a lot of things that are occurring right now, and it's coming to a head. Why? Because these parts of us can't come with us. And when we understand that, we begin to see some of these consequences of our actions and begin to really take a step back and get in alignment and resonance with where we truly wish to be. So, really happy that you're here with me today. If you are on the replay, please comment down below. I'm here, so I know who's with me and whose energy I'm giving all of this to. When you watch this via replay, the energy is still the same. Energy is neither created nor destructible. It always kind of just circulates and transforms. And that's one thing that we teach about in second year of the New Paradigm Healing Academy, called embodiment, where we begin to work through our energy bodies and understand what is here that is pattern and creating a blueprint for our life, or what it is that we need to clear. So really excited to do this today. Again, when we're facing ourselves, we're coming to a place where we've acted in a place where it's been in reactionary mode, reactionary to survivalship, reactionary to protection mechanisms, reactionary to justifications and defense. I keep referencing this movie called 10,000 Ways to Die in the West. And whether we realize it or not, like, the time period really had so many ways of and consequences of dying, right? Like, it was everywhere, from some kind of fever because we didn't have modern medicine to, an animal attacking us on the street, or gunfight, or just plain old, getting sick and not having what we need. So right now in our purview, we have everything we need. We're really in an abundant time and space right now. However, there's a part of us that still acts in that protective mechanism. And so our actions come from those places sometimes, and we don't often always see it. I myself have noticed that when I have believed in so long that I've been unlovable, that I will come from a place where I'm needy or clingy. I will come from a place that might be a little anxious driven and or avoidant, especially when I feel I'm being challenged or criticized, where in that unlovableness, I don't want to be found out. And so there's a part of me that acts in a way that can produce consequences that are pretty dire. That gives me an advantage though, because when I see it and face it in myself, I have a choice to make, right? And when I have that choice experience, it begins to move through the filters of what I believe to be true and give me an opportunity to experience something completely brand new. And know this, like our actions, all of our actions have consequences, positive ones too. And as we take these aligned actions, we will get those experiences that we most prefer. And sometimes, and this is really important to say, because this is one thing I'm going through right now, is that even when you follow the signs, the symbols, things that take you on your path and you know it's true, there are greater lessons when, especially when it isn't the outcome that you hoped and wished it would be. You begin to see that this action that you took, even though it was aligned, might actually produce something beyond the outcome that your mind can conceive. And what I mean about that is I had recently took an action on this event, and it led to so many things coming up in my purview, from, financial issues to relationship issues to self-worth issues to connection and support with my family issues, to so many things that, even though the outcome turned out really poorly, that ultimately it was my soul guiding me through this. And so the action that I took gave me the consequences that I needed to finally see, that I didn't know were operating in my system still. And as I saw it, I was like, holy shit. Okay. I didn't know that those parts of me were still hiding and that I was still lying to myself. And so the song by Teddy Swims and Ellie, it just really reminds me that sometimes we got to take a moment and face ourselves, right? To see what's operating. What are we still afraid of? What are we still utilizing? What tactics and strategies to manipulate and to control some situations in order for us to feel safe and protected? And so when we act from those actions, then we get more of that. And we don't even realize we're getting more of that, right? We're creating more of the same thing. And maybe the thing to do, which is beyond that, when you begin to discover it, is really choose from that space where you've been afraid to choose, afraid of what that consequence is because it's completely unknown. And yet it is the right and the most perfect path and beneficial for you and everyone involved. And sometimes, guess what? That looks like you might look like a bitch or an asshole, or you might look like you're super aggressive and mean, or it just might look like you're apathetic and not caring, which is all not true, right? It's just sometimes we run to the fire and burn ourselves, or we begin to observe the fire and see which is the best area to cross so that then we don't get burned. Okay, so we want to be in a place now where we are so mindful with our actions, because the consequences that it produces is really multifold, right? And there's a concept that I want to read to you that I'm learning in my family therapy classes. And this concept is called circular casuality. I don't know how to say that very well, but circular casuality. It's literally a concept that views family problems not as stemming from a single cause, but by a ongoing interconnected patterns of behavior within the system. Okay. Now, if you look at that, you think, okay, maybe this thing led from A to B, which leads to C, which leads to E, D, F, right? No, we don't live in a world that is completely linear. There's like multiple things, multiple systems uplifting each and every one of our actions right now. And if we are not aware of those, where they're coming from, then we are bound to repeat those patterns over and over and over again, right? So I see Kelly Ann. Hi, Lauren. Thank you so much for being here. Hello, Tiffany. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So if you are catching my drift, type in "this is for me" down in the comments below, because we want to begin to see where this shit is coming from. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we are not aware of it, then boom, it's going to enact out. And remember, like, everything happens for us for a reason, and it's happening either through us or for us. And what happens, again, if we're not able to see these parts of ourselves, it will come up to be shown. And as we see it, then we're like, oh, but we don't want to beat up on ourselves. We want to go, okay, I didn't realize I was still operating from that. Didn't realize that that was still the intention behind my actions. I thought I was doing better. I thought I was coming from positivity. I thought I was coming from peace. I thought I was coming from forgiveness. And yet we aren't, right? There is like this hidden agenda that's within each and every one of us, because again, it wants to protect us. It wants to keep us safe. It wants to make sure that we are in a place of control, in a place of understanding our outcomes, when ultimately, when you're following the soul, there is no ultimate outcome, because the mind can't conceive it. It doesn't have the experience of it yet, and you're literally in real time having it right now. Hi, Charlotte. Thank you so much for jumping on. So I'm going to go to the Akashic records and charts and begin to take a look at what we're working with here, because I feel this is so incredibly important to begin to see, like, what are these unconscious actions that we are operating from that produce the consequences that are happening today that we don't prefer, because it can be stopped and it can be understood, which then allows us to shift and change and transform in so many ways. And one other thing I did want to say is, in our first year of New Paradigm Healing Academy, which is called Ascension, we do study different patterns, and they are attached to each of the chakras. We actually create these patterns in our lives based on the different systems and the different things that come together to make up who we are. And each of the chakras have certain characteristics and traits that we embody, where root chakra is all about our safety and foundation. Second is about our feelings, nurturance, and sexuality and creativity. Our third operates with power and choice and individuality. And our heart chakra with forgiveness, love, and surrender and connection. And the fifth chakra here is all about conformity or authenticity, and being and living in our true selves, and understanding our belief systems. The third eye is our visions and what we can perceive in our minds and in the world beyond this three-dimensional world. And then seventh is our connection to God. And so when we begin to understand those energetic patterns, we see where we've been distorted, really pulled away from our true essence of our infinite eternal being, and into this heavy, dense world of this 3D illusion that then puts up this whole story, whole concept of who we think we have to be. So let's go into the records and see what we need to clear around consequences. Is there something we need to clear around consequences? Where is it? So we're going to this chart called Refining Consciousness. And this I find is important, because when we refine our consciousness, we are literally fine-tuning how we're perceiving, right? And if all of you have taken the school, we've also looked a lot at David R. Hawkins' work on his research on levels of consciousness. And there are different levels of consciousness, from shame all the way up until enlightenment. And then in the in-between phase is courage, along with willingness, neutrality, and acceptance, and love. And as we begin to look at this line of consciousness, we begin to see sometimes where our consciousness is distorted through a certain particular lens, and we're seeing it through that way. And so when we're refining our consciousness, we really want to look at the higher level issues, which also means the issues that we're all facing here. If we look at the main things, like most coaches are working on relationships, health, our finances, and so many other things in between. Like, seriously, like, those are three main things, right? Health, wealth, and relationships. And when we look at that, that's an overarching theme a huge higher level lesson that we're all really trying to learn. And then there's like all these offshoots off of that, right? And oftentimes when we're not taking care of our health, then our relationships fail. When we're really in a place of not taking care of our finances, everything else fails on the other end. So we're really in this place where we're attempting to balance out this energy so that all of them have an equal measure. That's why I love what's going on in the world today, where we're in a more holistic stance on things. We're not just looking at things like individually anymore. We're seeing how all of it affects the whole, because just like circle causality, everything affects one thing. It's not just one thing, it's everything. So if we can see that these higher level issues of what we're dealing with, we begin to see like why we're operating from that way. And one of the things that I look at is health, right? We have come into a time, especially after like World War II, where all of our, food needed to have a place to, we had to have like food that would last us forever in case war lasted forever, right? So we had more food that were on the shelves with preservatives. In the laboratories, they began to make up flavors and foods and all kinds of fake foods, not necessarily like in a place of taking care of everyone, but not necessarily seeing the consequences of those actions. In the beginning, it was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And look at what we can create, and we can store it on the shelves, and it can be frozen forever and all this wonderful stuff. And then we begin to go, oh wait, that's actually causing a lot of health issues and problems. And, we've been able to provide stipends because all these companies are like, buy our stuff. And now what we don't realize is it's feeding them a lot of money while making us really poor, because now we're having to spend a lot of money on healthcare and all kinds of things, right? And so we're not getting the right nutrients and foods, and then it can affect our relationships because now we're grumpy and we're yelling at each other, right? There's so many things like what we thought once was a great idea. Over time and over centuries, we begin to see like, well, maybe that wasn't so great. The consequences of those actions are really actually hurting the land and hurting the people and causing all kinds of issues, right? So we got to see that we're working with these higher level blocks, and it's something that we've created through coming together as community and feeding more people, and more people, the world being more populated. And we can't solve those same issues with the consciousness that created it. We keep attempting to do that same thing over and over again, expecting different results, but it's not happening, is it? We want to be in a place where we actually are like, okay, this is what fake food has created. What if we actually gave more money to the farmers to raise healthy foods and protect the soil and rotate the soil and do all kinds of things that actually might produce like a regenerative effect rather than a depletion effect, right? See what I mean? So we want to be able to begin to see and have that foresight, because technically we've never had past lives. It's like a hologram. We're simultaneously seeing it all at once. And for most of us, we're having that opportunity now to see beyond what this three-dimensional world has created. We are multidimensional beings, being able to see that we have a lot of talents and gifts. And when we remember and wake up and we actually act upon those things, we bring to the table some beautiful experiences, beautiful creativity to actually advance our civilization further than it's ever been advanced. Because more and more people are waking up, more and more people are tuning to their gifts, and more people are in their knowingness. And when they're in their knowingness, they know what they're creating and how it's going to be a benefit, because we're all wired to help one another. We've just been doing it in a way where we're trying to just take care of ourselves, and we forget that it's a win-win scenario. Right? So let's go ahead and clear these higher level issues by the one. So we begin to like take a look at these things and go, okay, it is a worldwide effect of how our relationships going to continue to sustain us rather than like create more wars. How are we going to take care of our bodies and health and feed ourselves? How are we going to support ourselves and others financially in a way that we all grow together and not in a place where it's going to throw us off kilter again and ruining ourselves, right? So this is the higher level actions that we're really needing to take a look at so we can see what kind of positive consequences we're going to create. Hello, Shandon. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you, Jonna Lynn. I'm so happy to have you here as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, as I was clearing that, and it's 100% complete, is I'm recognizing, you know, with this Taurus Gemini energy, right? We're kind of now moving into a place of air where information is gathered, information is communicated. We're talking to ourselves, and we're kind of attempting to see, like, well, this is how we've chosen in the past. This is how we're choosing now, and like combine all parts of ourselves, integrating these parts in order for us to come to a place where we're acting from that wisdom that we've occurred throughout our life. Like, we're not without information, people. Like, I mean, information is all at our fingertips everywhere. However, what we need to do is sit quietly with ourselves to tune in and gauge and check in, like, what is our soul saying? And so with New Paradigm Healing Academy, we have you sit in your energy body. Take a look at what is numb. Look at what is heavy. Look at what is like extremely hot or cold in your body, and begin to gauge and see where that's coming from, because those are the places and spaces within that actually have been holding these energetic patterns and creating a particular way of viewing things that then keeps getting rehashed over and over again. So take a moment right now and sit with your energy body. Notice where you feel tight and notice where it feels loose. Just take stock of all the sensations in your body. Notice if you do feel tired and sleepy or energized and awake. And now take the spot that's actually calling for your most attention and put your energy there. We're not going to like make it do anything. We're just going to be with it and allow it to be there. And as we allow it to be there, it might move, it might transform, it might move into another area of your body. However, that part of you has something to say to you. And sometimes we don't just look to ourselves for the answer. We're like looking for it outside. So if we can go inside for a moment and ask, like, what do you need right now? And just let it come to you. And it might not show up in words. It might show up as a picture. It might show up as a sensation in your body. And for me, I'm like really hot. It's hot here in Kona on the Big Island. And I was like, oh, I just need air. And the wind just blew on me. It was so beautiful. Hi, Brianna. Thank you so much for jumping on. So now when you have that information, you're connected to yourself, and our body knows the answers. Now, if you ask yourself, what is my most beneficial next aligned action? And I'm not talking in the future. I'm talking right now in the present. And if you're willing, type it in the chat below. For me, mine is to relax. I got here yesterday, and I've been on the go because I've been going to graduations and conversing with other people. And right now, for me, is a time of aloneness. And so I feel that desire to just be alone with my thoughts and journal things. And oh, that like sounds so divine. And from that, it's like you do that aligned action, it produces a consequence that actually is in more of your favor because you're now following that alignment. And when I tune into that, my body is like, oh yes, and it like almost pulls me there, like, let's go now. And so that's what I want you to look out for. When we have aligned actions, your body just feels so light. It feels like it's so pure, and it's like, I am going in this direction. And when you're like faced with this decision that you're like, I don't know, your body begins to cringe. It contracts. It's like, wait, before we make any kind of rash move, like really sit with yourself, really sit with what are the actions that you are wanting to take, because action is the language of divinity, meaning when you take action, you're really in creation. And when you're in creation, when you're acting from a place that is not in alignment with yourself, you're creating more of that misalignment all around you. Like from, speaking poorly to people, or speaking with, a reactionary tone. It just creates more of that trauma experience rather than what you prefer. So when you take a moment and pause and go, okay, how would I like to be in this moment? Okay, I want to be peaceful. And so how can I really be conjure up my peaceful attitude and go from there? Because the beingness is what then creates, you then have this opportunity to bless everyone around you with how you're being. And from that, literally everyone else's energy field can accept that, take it in. Think about it, when someone is coming at you angry with a lot of defense, a lot of energy, you kind of go, whoop, close your body off, right? And when someone's coming with an open hug and you are okay with hugs and you're like, oh my God, come in. It's like a welcoming in. So we want to pay attention to those subtle energies of our body, because when we know what the aligned action is, it's like, boom, you know it, you're ready to do it, you're ready to take action, and then it will create so much more positive consequences than you ever could have imagined. Because then now it snowballs into a ping pong thing. It's or a pinball machine. It goes ding 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 ding, things just line up. So we want to pay attention to that feeling, because then you're literally in alignment with it. All right, let's go back to the charts and see what else we need to clear for these consequences. So this is a final item in this one universe. We have been encountering a lot of open portals this year. That's almost every stinking day, serious. There's so much happening right now where the downloads are just flowing in. We are shifting into the new paradigm so rapidly. We're just really in that kind of space between where we're letting go of so much right now. So what else are we looking at here? So there is a checklist. It's funny because, once you start seeing yourself, you go, oh yeah, those are certain things that I want to take care of, because I can't create from that anymore. You get into a place where you're so sick and tired of, and being sick and tired of that experience, and you're like, I can't do that anymore. I can't do it. Hi, James. Hi, Lexi. Thank you so much for jumping on. So when you begin to see that and you're like, I'm not willing to do that anymore. That is also a beautiful point when you are like, okay, check, not doing that shit anymore. I'm ready to take action in this way. And that happened to me during my health. I had a health scare. Unfortunately, I had to have a hysterectomy because of it. And now I'm in a place where I'm so tender to my body, taking care of it, exercising, eating the right foods, having my cheat meals. I'm still enjoying things, but I'm in a place where I'm so determined and committed, because I realize my physical body is my avatar here on this 3-dimensional plane. And with this here, it's what is going to take action. If I'm exhausted all the time, if I'm treating it poorly, if I'm not eating the right foods, I can feel it. And so for me, that was a checklist on my list. It was like, I am really on this, I'm on this bandwagon to take care of myself, because not taking care of myself anymore is not an option. And the way that you know what it is you're supposed to do here in that checklist is literally, for me, the things that I no longer prefer. I no longer prefer feeling fat and lazy. I can do something about that. I don't have to wallow it in anymore and be all sad and depressed about it. I'm like, you know what? I am moving in this direction, and I'm taking control of my life, because those actions are producing results that I'm so excited about. And look at that. I got some muscles. Yay! Anyway, super stoked, and my legs are so strong. Like I'm feeling really good about my body. So think about that. Those actions that I'm taking towards my health are producing amazing consequences that I'm reaping in the benefits, right? I'm just loving how my body's feeling. And so that might be something you might want to pay attention to. Another one on my checklist is my relationships, right? I'm realizing how often I don't really express what I'm going through. I don't share my feelings. I keep it all to myself. And when I'm in that space, what happens? I don't necessarily build strong connections, right? The relationships can only go as deep as I go. And when I'm willing to reveal and share with people what I'm going through, it's like they can hold so much love and support for me. And normally I'm the one who holds support for others, but right now, like, it is this place of being humble and receiving the support around me, because I know how much people love me right now, and that I can draw upon their strength too. And it's such a beautiful thing. And that to me is a huge checklist, because I've been thinking about my family, about my friends, about how, I have been with them. And in this age that I'm at, it's like I do want to be connected. I want to be a part of their lives. I want to be in a place where I love and support my family and friends, but also receive the love and support back. Because oftentimes, remember the whole action, the unconscious actions that we're coming from, we don't realize they're coming from, is I had a belief that I had to be strong and independent and take care of myself and handle things all on my own. Now, don't you think that would create so much anxiety and depression? And yes, it did. Okay. It did for me, for sure. So now I'm like, I can't handle things on my own. I want to reach out for support. I want to be held. I want to be loved. I want to be supported. And guess what? It's happening. And I'm so thankful, because that means opening my heart and being vulnerable in this place. And that to me means so much. So acting from that, the consequences again are producing effects for me that really actually add to my life. And that's where the concept of 1 + 1 = 3, because ultimately you are multiplying the support, multiplying your right actions with what is most beneficial for you. And I'm not saying right actions as far as like morality and ethics. There's fine lines there, right? We want to be ethical, we want to be moral, but we don't want to be rigid in how we're doing things, because ultimately when you're rigid and according to other people's rules and regulations, then you're going to miss your true soul's path. So I want you to check in with that as well, right? And know what is most right and perfect for you and everyone involved. So let's go ahead and clear this checklist, so that we begin to understand what it is that's on our checklist, what it is that we're supporting ourselves with, and getting into right relationship with that. Clear and release, clear and release, clear and release. Cleared, accurate, complete. All right. Is there something else we need to clear around our consequences? Where is it? And if you have questions, please let me know. All right. We are going to miscellaneous blocks. Jonalyn says, I love that. Thank you. Michelle says, 18 years of Pluto and Aquarius, transformation of community. Yes, I know. It's like especially in this American society, we've become very individualistic. Being born of a Filipino family, there's a lot of collectivism thoughts, but also that can be problematic as we come into groupthink. We come into biases, we come into a place that is, if we think outside of the group, then there becomes a problem. So guess what? We're blending the two, right? We have this individual self along with the collectivist, and we're seeing where we fit within that and support each other. Okay, so we're going into chart 10A, and this one is clearing the cellular memory. All right, so this is important because we're in a place, right, where our minds only know what was. It doesn't know what will be. It knows what is because it's experiencing what is right now. However, what will be is not of the mind to conceive. Like, that is an impossible task that we sometimes give the mind, right? impossible task of, tell me what my future is going to be. Tell me that this outcome will be okay. Tell me that everything is going to be fine and I'll be able to handle it. Guess what? You always do, don't you? We always are able to handle what we're given. We just get freaked out because we have no known idea of really what that outcome is going to be. But I assure you, I have experienced some really shitty experiences and I'm still okay. I'm still alive. And the funny thing is I watched this show, where this gentleman got so bogged down with some financial mistakes that he had created. Literally, he wanted to go into a place of, killing himself because that would be easier, right? To not experience the pain. But guess what? The pain is where you'll see the truth. Through that pain is actually where you're going to get your greatest strength and your greatest understanding of who you really are beyond what you thought you were. And for me, by going through that pain, by feeling it and being with it and not judging myself, not punishing myself, just literally going through the emotions, going through everything I thought and believed to be true about myself, that then I could really see who I really am. And that's who you are. Beyond this idea of who you think you need to be, beyond what you need to produce, beyond what you need to create, like you are that, and you're here to have these experiences that actually take you beyond your wildest imaginations. And so when we go to this place, especially where we're clearing the cellular memory, we're literally letting go of so much ancestral history of all these systems that we're governed by. And now we're like literally a blank canvas to create something beyond who we've thought we could be, even as a human species, because someone told us to be human is to do these things. And now we're like really aligned with our higher selves, our true selves, and really coming into a place where it's like, I am the infinite eternal being of light. I am going to be okay. Death not even phases me. I'm going to be okay, and I can handle anything here because I can problem solve. I can utilize all of my chakras and be able to create something beyond, right? And it will become natural, and it will become effortless, and it'll become fairly easy because we're in a place where we know who we are. And maybe all the things that we've been operating from is who we're not. And so now that we're clearing the cellular memory, which let's do now, please clear all of the cellular memory so that we really can choose from the now. Choices are really in a place of the now. We don't know the consequence of those choices. We only know that we must take action on that now because we feel it in our bones and it won't stop talking to us. You can like ignore it, you can numb it out, but ultimately that leads to more and more and more suffering. Like when you say yes to your life, like, oh my God, like things move. Like everything moves with you. And I'm getting reminded of this, Michelle. Hi, Raji. Hi, Ira. Is that when you make a choice in the direction of your dreams, everything will conspire to meet you there. And, we get so afraid of not knowing that will be there because all the consequences of the past, right? However, this is completely brand new. Everything's being rewritten right now. We're literally clearing the cellular memory of everything that is here. We're literally in the new paradigm. And where we are now is amazing manifestations galore. So let's do it. Cleared, accurate, complete. And believe me, there are some things that I thought were going to pan out and I was following it like crazy, but I realized it's the echoes of the past, which then brought me to myself to understand what, again, I have been operating from in the underground, what I thought I needed, what I thought I desired, what I thought was most beneficial for me that actually was from the mind, was from old programs, from old ideas that actually no longer can come with me because it's still filled with fear. It's still filled with that fucking fear. And it's not, I can't create from fear to create love. That's fear is creating more fear. Love creates more love. And I've got to love myself wholeheartedly, know myself wholeheartedly so that then I'm not creating from those negative consequences that bring me to places that I no longer wish to be. Okay, so let's keep this. South Node Clearinghouse, whoop, whoop. Yes, Michelle, that is so right. Okay, so We just cleared the cellular memory by 100%. Perfect. Is there anything else we need to clear around this consequences at this time? No. However, there is something I feel like we need to address. Is it themes and challenges or soul quality? Soul quality. So one of the biggest things that we need as we go on this journey of taking action and seeing the consequences is utter and complete faith, right? And this is powerful because with faith, we are literally trusting in that higher part of ourselves, in the truth, in the creation of what we desire to create. And we are literally making choices now that will create that. And believe you me, when I start seeing that, especially not in the form of things, right? It's in the form of that beingness. And lots of people talk about it all the time, but that beingness is really like, I want to feel peaceful. I want to feel joy. I want to feel like utmost bliss and pleasure. And what does that feel like? And it's like interspersing throughout my life constantly. And it's like in and out and in and out, but I know what it feels like. And when I know what it feels like, I want that so much. You know, when you have that conscious intention with the feeling combined, it's like, boom, it's like ready to create. And we need that. We don't need the fear. We don't need the constriction of like, oh, is this going to happen? It's like, no, yes, I am like gung-ho. I'm ready for it. Take me on that adventure, right? So remember, as you're doing what you're doing towards where it is you want, have faith. You know, the things that are coming through to you are meant for you, right? Even if we call it bad or negative, it's there for some of the biggest, most brilliant lessons for you to know yourself so that you can get more on board in alignment with who you truly are. So I'm going to go ahead and do a mop up. I just want to say that we do have the 5 keys to dissolving fear-based beliefs coming up June 23rd. If you have not signed up for it, please DM me. I will send it to you. It is all free. We're going to be going through different phases and stages, the keys to help you begin to unlock the doorways to being in alignment with yourself. Because yes, there is a process. It's not just here we go blindly. Like there is a process, because ultimately we got to get ourselves out of the way, from our physical being to our emotional self to our mental self. Like all of this informs us, and if we're not aware of it, we're going to get in trouble, right? So DM me for the 5 keys to dissolving fear-based beliefs, because you don't have to do this shit alone. It's been a really rough year for me, and I know a lot of other people. However, we are being resilient and simultaneously being resonant with the new paradigm, and we're doing it, and we're doing it all together. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do a mop-up. Thank you, Heavenly Father, Mother Earth, guides, guardian angels, for the immediate reactions through consequences of knowing what is most right and true for us. And when it is not, may we learn the lesson, integrate it into wisdom, integrate our own understanding rather than beat up on ourselves and spit on others and hate ourselves. We are in a place where there is so much growth, and from that we can literally be reborn from the ashes into something great and beautiful and grand for the benefit of all. Please take care of us, help us to see those actions and consequences in a more clear purview, and help us to really be in the guidance of our true souls. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Amen. Aho, may it be so. Woo woo. So I'm going to again play this beautiful song for you. Again, it's called Face Myself by Ellie Duhay and Teddy Swims. And again, I feel that this is the most perfect song for today's topic, consequences, because when we begin to face ourselves and see our actions, then we can begin to change them one step at a time. Here we go. I love you. Have a wonderful week, and enjoy your Memorial Weekend and all the graduations that are occurring right now. Love and light to you all. Aloha. If you felt a shift today, this is just the beginning. Join us inside New Paradigm Healing Academy to go deeper into clearing, energy work, and soul remembrance. Subscribe, like, and share this with someone ready to release the old and embody the new. Together, we rise in frequency across all timelines.